The next article I want to take a look at is entitled Pastor Who Denounces Hypocrisy Flip-Flops on When Someone is President-Elect. This is by Hemant Mehta on the Friendly Atheist website, so let's give it a read and see what it has to say. Over the weekend, Pastor Robert Jeffress wrote in an article for Fox News that Joe Biden will become the next president. I'm sure if you've been watching me for a while, you're perfectly aware of who Robert Jeffress is, because I talk about him a lot. I've been following him for a while. He is one of the biggest representatives of the evangelical voting bloc that there is. He's a complete nutcase and very bigoted and hateful, like Steven Anderson of the NIFB in many ways. So I'm actually genuinely surprised that he said this bit about Joe Biden becoming the next president. Anyway, let's continue reading. There were unnecessary caveats in the article, like saying legal challenges by Donald Trump could possibly undo the election, but the implication was that Jeffress was accepting reality and everyone else should as well. It's good news. Here's the thing with the election. Ultimately, we don't have one big election in the United States. That's not really how the system works. It's really 50 smaller elections. If Donald Trump wants to undo the results, he has to fight in court in each individual state. Like, he has to fight in Pennsylvania for one very specific thing. He has to fight in Nevada for one very specific thing. Same in Arizona and Georgia. At this point, Biden has won so many states that Trump would have to flip a minimum of 3, bare minimum of 3. His best bet would probably be, actually I wrote this down, hang on. The 4 smallest margins of victory for Biden were in order. Arizona, Biden won by 10,000. Georgia, he won by 14,000 votes. Wisconsin, he won by 20,500. And Nevada, he won by 34,000 votes. He would have to flip basically all 4 of those to be able to have a chance at getting the presidency. And each one, there isn't one single lawsuit that he can file to flip all 4. He has to file lawsuits in each individual state. Now, I can see Trump fighting and screaming and throwing himself on the floor and knocking shelves over until he gets what he wants in one state, but not 4. Zero chance of that. He has presented no evidence of fraud so far that I have seen, and I've been watching. Once he provides evidence of fraud, I'll take another look. As I solemnly swear to do in every situation, I will be impartial as possible. I am wrong about some things in my life. Some opinions that I hold are incorrect. The chances that I don't hold any incorrect opinions is astronomical. I must be wrong about something. My goal in life is to figure out what that thing is and correct it. So I am open to the possibility that maybe there was voter fraud. I'm open to anything. It's possible that anything happened. Haven't seen a lick of evidence. Nothing. Until I see evidence, I'm not believing it. I'm just not buying into it. It's the same reason I'm an atheist. Until I see evidence of something, I'm not going to believe it, period. So anyways, let's continue reading. This is from the article that Robert Jeffress wrote. It appears that former Vice President Joe Biden will become the 46th President of the United States on January 20th. That in itself is a really big deal that he said that. Unless President Trump succeeds in legal challenges to the counting of votes in several states. Several states. Like I said, it would take at least 3 or 4, depending on which ones he flipped. For millions of Christians across our nation, this is a bitter pill to swallow. Here's our chance to show that Christians are not hypocrites. We serve a God who remains on his throne, sovereignly reigning over every square inch of this vast universe. God. He's so fucking full of it, man. We serve a God who loves us and will never leave or forsake us. And now we have the chance to show the consistency and constancy of our Christian witness to this world. When Joe Biden becomes president, we should commend him for the things he does right. We should condemn the things he does wrong. And above all, we must pray fervently for our president. Because, prayer has been proven without a shadow of a doubt to actually do something, right? If President Biden succeeds, we all succeed. May God bless Joe Biden, and may God bless the United States of America. I feel it's really fucking rich coming from this guy. This line about hypocrisy. He's suddenly concerned about not looking like a hypocrite. That's hilarious to me. I mean, if you're wondering in what ways he has acted hypocritically, just go look at my backlog of videos. I've done videos on my main channel about him and on my podcast channel. Just go take a look and you'll see the hypocrisy plain as day. It's absolutely disgusting. But on this note, if President Biden succeeds, we all succeed. May God bless Joe Biden. I actually said that bit about Trump too. If Trump succeeds, we all succeed. I was rooting for him. I was rooting for Trump. It's like we're in an airplane and there's a giant orange orangutan in the cockpit and he's locked himself in and nobody can get in. Do I think he's going to succeed? No. Is there a chance he might? I guess. There's a chance that anything could happen. A pink dragon could appear out of thin air in front of me. I mean, it's possible, I guess. Do I want him to succeed desperately? Yes. I am hoping with everything in me that he succeeds. Of course, we know now Trump failed miserably because he didn't give a fuck about the country. He gave a fuck about his ego and nothing else. So that hope fell flat in my case. But I said the same thing. I said the same thing that Jeffress said here. If President Biden succeeds, we all succeed. So I'm glad he's taking that perspective. May God bless Joe Biden and may God bless the United States of America. That's what he said. This is Hemant Mehta speaking now. It's irrelevant that Jeffress isn't happy with the results. His preferred candidate lost. He's supposed to move on. His article suggested a path forward for fellow conservative Christians. But in the days since that article came out, a number of media outlets have reported on how Jeffress, unlike most of the other Trump cultists, was accepting the results of the election instead of screaming about fraud or other shenaniganery. That's my word, by the way. The word here is shenanigans, but I'm trying to make the word shenaniganery more common in the English language. So he was actually embracing the vote counts. One outlet even declared Jeffress jumps off the Trump bandwagon. No wonder Jeffress is now backtracking. Last night, he reminded his followers that he remains a MAGA cultist today, a MAGA cultist tomorrow, and a MAGA cultist forever. This is a quote. This is from Robert Jeffress's Twitter account. This is what he said. Don't believe some false media reports that I have broken with our great president, Donald Trump. I support him completely. We do not have a president-elect until Electoral College votes December 14th. I will discuss on Lou Dobbs tonight, Friday. Okay. That's an interesting point. We do not have a president-elect until Electoral College votes December 14th. That's not accurate. We can look and determine if we have a president-elect based on the number of votes in each state, and that's what we've done since the founding of the country. So I don't buy this Electoral College votes December 14th bullshit. He's just trying to make it clear that he supports Trump still, more than likely. Trump probably called him and gave him a good chewing out. That'd be my guess. But if anybody is wondering how this works, I've looked into it a little bit. I'm not 100% sure on the day, but states have, I think, 20 days after the election to certify their results. And Trump just filed a lawsuit not long ago in Pennsylvania to prevent them from certifying their results. Ultimately, it doesn't really matter because Pennsylvania, adds to Biden's victory, but isn't the sole state that determined it. Georgia pushed it over the edge. There's no coming back for Trump after Georgia went to Biden. Nevada, Wisconsin, Michigan, Arizona, they're all in Biden's camp, and Trump has zero chance of winning at this point. So he can bitch about Pennsylvania not certifying their results or try to prevent them from certifying all he wants. It's not going to work, honestly. Anyways, like I said, 20 days, I believe, after the election takes place is how long the states have to certify their results. That's when the rubber stamp hits the paper from the Federal Elections Committee, I believe. I heard it was November 16th this year. I heard it was November 20th. But 20 days after the election would be the 23rd. So sometime in the next week, it will be official and irreversible. He is president-elect. The Electoral College does vote on December 14th, and some states are required to vote with their districts, but not all. I understand Trump was trying to go this faithless elector route where he was going to try to convince some Electoral College voters to vote for him against their districts. That has happened in history where a couple have broken off and voted for the other candidate against their districts. At this point, it's illegal in most situations, so they legally have to vote for their districts. But it's never overturned an election. It's only ever been a couple of them. I remember in 2016, they were talking about trying to get the Electoral College to vote against Donald Trump because that's the whole fucking purpose of the Electoral College, to be a safeguard against possible tyrants, to be a safeguard to protect America against a dictatorship. They can vote against the dictator even if the people voted for him and prevent him from taking office. A couple did, I heard. A couple of electors did vote against Donald Trump when they were supposed to vote for him. But ultimately, it didn't happen. The point behind all of this is Robert Jeffress saying we don't have a president-elect until December 14th. That's just bullshit. That's just not how this system has ever worked in the whole 300-year history of the U.S. That's not how it works. Biden is the president-elect. I'm sorry to tell everybody. Let's keep reading. This is Hemant Mehta again. Jeffress says in that tweet that he's still on Team Trump and insists we do not have a president-elect until the Electoral College votes on December 14th, which is both technically true and entirely misleading. The election is over. Biden won. The Electoral College votes should be a mere formality at this point. But it's also a radical shift from what Jeffress said the day after the election in 2016, when he was already describing Trump as president-elect. Quote, we must pray for our new president-elect Trump, and yes, I would have said that had Hillary Clinton won. Election 2016. Fascinating. Interesting hypocrisy, right? We didn't have to go far for hypocrisy, did we? He said, let's not be hypocrites. Let's get behind Biden and pray for him because his success is our success. And within like a day, the dude is suddenly a hypocrite again. That did not take long. Fascinating. Let's keep reading. This is Hemant Mehta again. Weird how the Electoral College votes weren't a concern for him back then. I wonder what changed. For a man who wants to show that Christians are not hypocrites, he's individual one. He's a liar. He cannot be trusted. He's a partisan hack who role plays as a pastor, and no one should take him seriously as a commentator on faith without acknowledging his lies. Yeah, 100% agree with Hemant Mehta on this one. The guy is a toxic mess, and I should really do a bigger expose on him at some point in the future. Honestly, the one thing that surprised me with this whole situation were his words right here. It appears that former Vice President Joe Biden will become the 46th president. Here's our chance to show that Christians are not hypocrites, and if Biden succeeds, we all succeed. That was extremely surprising to me. I genuinely did not expect one of the leaders of the evangelical movement to jump behind Biden. But it is a good sign. We need world leaders, European leaders, the Canadian leader, Justin Trudeau, the leader of France, the leader of Germany, the leader of the UK. We need everybody, Japan, everybody, to acknowledge Biden as the leader to prevent Trump from flipping the narrative. Because Biden is the winner, plain and simple. There's been no evidence provided in a court of law to prove anything. No evidence provided so far. As far as anybody should be concerned, Biden is the president-elect. If evidence surfaces, I have my doubts that it will, but I'm keeping an open mind, I will change my opinion, or I will consider it. I'll take a closer look at the very least. So far, this situation looks exactly like what Trump did in Iowa in 2016, saying that Ted Cruz rigged the Iowa caucus. Same exact bullshit coming out of Donald's mouth back then as is coming out right now.